Hey everyone, and welcome to a video about the new statement released in the Karen Read trial. A statement on the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and the ongoing failure to protect victims and witnesses. Someone asked me if I'd seen this yesterday, and I was like, nope. So I went looking around for it, and I found it on a website called Justice for John O'Keefe. I might make an extra video on that website because it really got my noggin jogging viewing that website, because there's some questions I have. But first, let's look at this statement and try and go through it. We speak out today not only for the family and friends of John O'Keefe, but for every person who have ever made the brave choice to cooperate with law enforcement in pursuit of justice and paid the price to do it. John was a beloved son, beloved brother, friend. For over 3 years, his family and loved ones, including the McAlberts, Kerry Roberts, Brian Higgins, placed their faith in our legal system. They came forward immediately. They gave truthful statements to the police. They offered their phones, their records, and their lives to scrutiny, despite the heavy cost they have paid to ensure that the only person 3 separate law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and Department of Justice, ever identified as a suspect was held accountable. She was not. And instead of protection, they were left to fend for themselves. While Ms. Read was surrounded by high-priced PR teams and online influencers who waged a brutal, coordinated campaign of harassment, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office failed to act. Witnesses were stalked in their homes, slandered on social media, and confronted in public. Families was forced into hiding. Careers was impacted. Children were targeted. And through it all, the death threats, the lies, the intimidation. It appears to us that the NCDAO has chosen to leave their witnesses completely on their own. The truth is not complicated. The Massachusetts State Police and Norfolk County DS office already know who is behind the ongoing campaign. They have charged Aidan Kearney. They have obtained a search warrant for Karen Read's digital devices, an action that requires a finding of probable cause, the same standard needed to bring criminal charges, and yet no further action has been taken. Now, after a trial that raised troubling questions about the impartiality of some jurors, including individuals with public connections to Ms. Read's media machine, Karen Read has been acquitted. And emboldened by this outcome, the harassment only grows worse, even as Ms. Read and others appear to profit from the death of John O'Keefe. Keep that in mind for my second video. The people who mourn him continue to be hunted and humiliated for daring to speak the truth. This is not justice, this is not accountability, and this is not acceptable. The family affected by this horrible circus-like case deserves better from elected officials. We all do. We are calling today on the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and the Massachusetts State Police to fulfill their most basic duty, to protect those who come forward in good faith and to prosecute those who seek to obstruct justice through violence, threat, and manipulation. Let this be a moment where someone finally stands up and says enough. Let it be known that in Norfolk County and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, cooperating with law enforcement does not make you a target. It makes you a citizen. And anyone who seeks to harm or silence the witnesses will be held accountable to the full extent of the law. We will not stop speaking out. We will not stop fighting for John, and we will demand that those with the power to act finally do so. I don't know who is behind this. I can tell by the lines that this is a ChatGPT generated statement for official release. I've seen Krusty, the good old Krusty Pandies, share this, and let's just go over a few facts in this case. They gave truthful statements to the police. That's subjective. The defense has raised claims that were they that truthful? Were they that accurate? Or is there more there? We have the whole Hush Long to Die in the Cold controversy, that people would claim she wasn't truthful about the deletion of certain Google searches. I know just by saying this, I will get 45,000 comments. Oh, you don't understand anything. There's the changing timelines and the apparent inconsistencies in witness testimony. If they were truthful, why are they constantly changing their story? Jen McCabe has changed the story more than anyone in this trial. But she's the victim here. Remember, they offered up their phones and their records. No, they actually didn't. Several of the people that's involved in it was criticized for not immediately handing over their phones. There are evidence that phones were wiped and that not all the data was preserved. And again, this is one of the complaints we have had of the McAlpert clan. Why did you destroy 2 phones just the day before there was a preservation order? Why did Higgins go and make his own download illegally on federal equipment? Why did the screenshots get shared and, oh, I'm going to delete certain contacts because it's not important? They weren't turned over immediately and in full. The defense had to subpoena some of the records to get them because they weren't voluntarily turned over. Again, I don't know why the antis think that they can lie and get away with it. I'm a dumb baker from Denmark, but I know enough to say what you just said is bullshit. They didn't turn over their stuff instantly. And she was not held accountable. She was arrested. She was charged. She had 2 trials. She got the full force of the legal system right at her. So if she was not held accountable, what more do you want? Do you want a verdict without a trial? Do you want her, just because you don't like her, to be found instantly guilty? That's not how the law works. If you're fighting for justice for John O'Keefe, one of the things you should make sure of was everyone is treated by the book, after the law. You don't just find someone guilty because you think you're right. 24 jurors have agreed Karen Read did not hit John O'Keefe with a car. Why are you still out here claiming that's not being held accountable? Being held accountable is not that you decide who goes to prison. You are most likely, because there's no names on who owns this website, and it's just signed by #Justice for John O'Keefe. So we don't know, but you're most likely one of those antis who have harassed people more than anyone. You don't get to decide what's accountability. The justice system tried twice. She has been held accountable. You lost, get over it. Witnesses were stalked, families in hiding. There has been some filming of witnesses, just like the antis have been filming Karen Read. Did Krusty Panties stalk Karen Read too? No, that's different. There's no stalking and forcing families into hiding, because there's no police report claiming that. There's no protective orders. There's no verified threats. Carney has been charged in relation to online activities. It's ongoing. And again, wait for the justice system to act. You just want to find people guilty. You're not Judge Dredd. You don't just mete out justice like you like it. You have to wait for the justice system to work. Then there was the weird statement that there was a search warrant for Karen Read's phone. Yeah. They got that. Warrants require probable cause. But probable cause is not you're guilty. They say, hey, This dead cop is found outside of a house. We have probable cause to search it because we knew he was at a party there yesterday. That doesn't mean the homeowner is guilty. It just means that the police get a search warrant and go in and look for evidence in the house. No. Could be really good if they had done that. It's not anything to do with she's guilty. Probable cause is some of the lowest standards. You can almost always get a judge to sign over. There's nothing beyond reasonable doubt in that. The search warrants were just because they wanted to snoop on her phone. And if you forgot it, Justice for John O'Keefe, a grand jury didn't find enough evidence to raise charges against Karen Read for stalking. How in the hölle can you get to, well, she's guilty because she had a search warrant against her? And then the good old, she's making money off of it. Karen Read spent all of her money. Her family spent all her money. She was lucky that amazing people out there crowdfunded her defense. There is no evidence suggesting that she personally has profited from this case. I know if you ask DiPietro, he claims, well, this case was just so she could profit off of it. Are you retarded? Sorry, you have to be stupid to believe anything the aunties say. And again, have I made money off of it? Yeah. Have I made money off of other cases? Yeah. This is what being a YouTuber is. Have Krusty Panties made money off of this? Sadly, I think some people might have super chatted or Venmo her. Have Plevin made money off of his book? I don't think so, because it's a really bad book. But you forget all your own grifting. And again, remember the make profit. I'm going to make another video talking about that. Just to summarize this new statement, it's unproven claims and it's misleading, as everything else from the aunties. It looks like a PR document where they're trying to reframe the outcome of a bad prosecution rather than to try and say, okay, we're wanting justice for John O'Keefe. It's the same thing we have seen over and over and over and over again. They put on the mantle of justice for John O'Keefe. In reality, it's, I hate Aiden, therefore I hate Karen Read. You are not fighting for justice for John O'Keefe. None of you. You are liars. You spend all your time sitting online trying to say, I'm better than you. But in reality, half of you couldn't find out who John O'Keefe were if you met him in a crowd. Just like the McAlberts didn't know really who he was till that night. Remember the phone number exchanged when they were at the D&E Pizza? They weren't good friends. Stop lying. Get truthful. Karen Read was found not guilty, not once, not twice. You lost. Keep hating. You won't get Karen Read in prison. You will do whatever you can to try and get Aiden in prison, just because you're butthurt that Krusty Panties got fired. If you want justice for John O'Keefe, you should look for the real killers, not try to make Karen guilty.